Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting year with Back to the Movies. As you saw last week, we have a lot in store for you. We have several shows and a bunch of excited people with great ideas to share with you about movies that you can go back to, fall back on the weekends, exciting things to do on Saturdays and Sundays. You know, apparently in America now, people get to go for dinners or whatever, go out eating by themselves. You don't have to do that alone. With Back to the Movies, we'll tell you about exciting movies that you can go watch with people. Maybe, you know, come hang out and watch them here with us sometimes. No, that's not happening. But welcome to another exciting year with Back to the Movies.
Welcome to our new movie review segment on Back to the Movies. I'm Ashley, and we're going to talk about Trainwreck today. Trainwreck is about Amy, played by the famous comedian Amy Schumer. Amy was told at a young age that monogamy isn't realistic, so she lived her life not being able to commit to a man. Amy is a writer who is assigned to do an article on Aaron Connors, who is played by Bill Hader, and she finally realizes what a train wreck is when she starts to fall for him. Other actors include Colin Gwynn and Brie Larson, and Rotten Tomatoes rates this movie at 85% and an audience rating of 73%.
Monogamy isn't realistic.
Monogamy isn't realistic.
Again.
Monogamy isn't realistic.
Is that one in the box?
Hey, Mark Wahlberg, shut up.
Mark Wahlberg? Mark Wahlberg's like 150 pounds. I look like Mark Wahlberg ate Mark Wahlberg.
If you want to see Amy Schumer have some laughs and feel awkward at the same time, Trainwreck is for you. Don't forget to bring your friends to share the laughs with. It's really funny.
Holy smokes! Okay, all right, okay. Whoa! Okay, that was so bad. What happened? I think I blanked out. Okay, my legs, I lost feeling in them, okay? It's okay.
I'm still laughing. That wasn't so bad. Really? No one believes you. You lost consciousness twice. Welcome to my segment where I now have an excuse as to why I watch so many pointless YouTube videos. In this next video, we learn the valuable life lesson that you should always use the restroom before witnessing any crimes.
When the ambulance came, was he still alive?
Yeah, he was breathing.
Okay, and was he still, making contact and he sound clear? Did he feel like he was losing breath or anything?
Yes, man.
What did he say?
He was like, now all I heard was saying, help me. I got to pee.
Oh, that's what he said?
I got to pee.
Oh.
I'm peeing myself.
Do you know where he was shot at on his body?
I think in the side right there.
So he was shot on the arm and his leg, or arm and his stomach?
I just peed on myself.
Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
No,
but
I'm wet.
No, so afterwards, can you describe to people who don't know him? His name was Michael, you said?
I think his name was
Mike. Okay, we'll be right back.
Shout out to the oblivious news reporter. I'm sure getting that story was really important, but you could not have let the girl go take care of business. Sticking with news interviews, this next video teaches us the lack of intelligence that comes with being a surfer.
But the park is still flooded, so you'll see kids out there again
Some
today.
of those kids today will be my co-hosts.
It's just like, dude, you get the best barrels ever, dude. Just like you pull in and you just get spit right out of them. And you just drop in and just smack the lip. Whoop-ah! Drop down, snap, ah! And then after that, you just drop in, just ride the barrel and get pitted. So pitted like that.
I actually have more questions after watching this video. Like, what does pitted even mean? In this next video, we learn that height and size does not always mean bravery or manliness.
It's huge!
I need you to be a man right now.
It's so huge.
I know, it's really, really big.
I'm gonna call Greg.
No! Don't call Greg! Just go kill it!
There's a big spider on the ceiling.
Oh! I got this!
From the noises he was making, I'm convinced he is possessed by demons. And this video also has made me come to the realization that I never want to have children. No one could have quieted that screaming kid in the background, maybe fed him to the spider. On the positive side, that man is still more intelligent than this Detroit man who went about an even more stupid way to try and kill a spider. He obviously took the phrase "kill it with fire" too seriously. Thanks for watching. To end my segment, here's my friend Jonathan, who really likes animals.
Back here live at the Waterfront Village with my friend the zombie, Jonathan. You're looking good. Jonathan just got an awesome face paint job. What do you think?
I like turtles.
All right, you're great zombie.
It's time for today's trivia question. In Return to Halloween Town, which actress takes over the role of Marnie Piper? The answer after this break.
Visit utvs.com and learn more about SCSU's television station. You're watching UTVS, local TV for the Granite City.
In Return to Halloween Town, which actress takes over the role of Marnie Piper? The answer, Sarah Paxton. Due to scheduling conflicts with Big Bad Wolf, Kimberly J. Brown was unable to take on the role of Marnie and was passed on to Sarah Paxton.
Welcome back to the movies and this week's Die Hard debate topic. This week, I'm joined by Kellen and Nick, as always, and we're going to be arguing about which historical movie we think is best. And these guys have actually come up with two movies from the exact same era, so I'm kind of interested to see how this argument pans out. So, gentlemen, let's play ball.
So, my film is Steven Spielberg's Lincoln, which was all about the abolishment of slavery and, you know, how they had to get the necessary votes to get it. And I just think the acting is superb. It's one of Spielberg's just best directing performances. And I'll just be interested to hear what his film is.
My film is a little bit more specific, also in the Civil War time, but I picked the exact film Gettysburg. When you talk about best historical film, I try to figure out which one I thought was the most accurate to what actually happened. And I feel like Gettysburg really hits that nail on the head exactly.
So, for Lincoln, I think it's the best historical film. When you just look at, they got so many of the little nuances right. You know, Daniel Day-Lewis read hundreds of books on Lincoln, and he talked to hundreds of historians just to get every little nuance of the character correct. You know, most people think his voice was like a low, booming voice, but he actually had a high-pitched voice. And Daniel Day-Lewis talked like that for 6 straight months to even his wife, just so he could get the voice perfected for the film. And he wasn't the only actor kind of going to extreme lengths to perfect what they were doing. Just all the actors, you got Sally Fields, you got Joseph Gordon-Levitt in a small role in the film, you got Tommy Lee Jones. They all went, I think, above and beyond their usual performances to deliver a very powerful film. And I just think when you look at the subject matter of it dealing with, obviously Gettysburg is a very important subject matter as well, but I think we all agree, abolishment of slavery, a little higher up on the totem pole. And I just think I don't think a lot of people understand exactly how slavery got abolished and, you know, how much Lincoln and his cabinet had to fight for it just to get every necessary vote to accomplish it. And I think it was a great accomplishment to Spielberg and to the writers and other producers on the film just to kind of bring that story to light, because it wasn't a story I think history books teach as well as they should.
Sure, Lincoln can be a good movie, only if you're okay with watching one guy for 3 hours, practically. Really, with Gettysburg, there are so many stories happening in this one place at this one time. You have the Confederate Army and the Union Army. They've been fighting for this whole time. Union looks beaten, but yet still, you want to root for both of them almost, because they both have this huge motivation behind them. And there's so many things going on with Chamberlain, Jeff Daniels' character. He was actually, I think, nominated at one point for Best Supporting Actor, which he probably should have won. I don't think he did, though, unfortunately. But that was the same year. There was how many other great movies coming out at that time, I think. But basically, he had this crushing challenge. I've actually been to Gettysburg before, and the tour guide showed us all that happened that day. And of course, Gettysburg movie didn't get everything. That's only because I had to leave a couple things out. But that's only because so many things still did happen. The pressure that Colonel Chamberlain had during that battle they show in the movie Gettysburg, I mean, if he failed at his job, the whole thing falls apart. And you talk about, it talks about the whole story of abolishment of slavery. Well, the entire Civil War does deal with that, but basically, if the Union loses this battle, from what I understood, it would have fallen apart terribly for the Union. It would, it was just a huge morale builder for the Union. It was after this battle, actually, that the Union actually was able to turn things around and eventually take down the Confederates and eventually abolishing slavery. Martin Sheen, he had the tough job of basically playing a guy who was ultimately going to lose, but had to make it look like I am going to win this. He had the crushing job because nobody ever picked the Confederates for this war, yet they still were always winning. So he always had to be the morale booster for his troops, and I think just because of that, it's just this great storytelling that has been portrayed there.
So you say Jeff Daniels was nominated for a supporting actor role, and in Lincoln you get 3 hours of just the same character, but Daniel Day-Lewis won the Academy Award for Best Actor. He was at the height of his powers, and it's just, you want to watch him for 3 hours because there's just so many little nuances to it, and you just learn so much more throughout all 3 hours that it's such an enjoyable film to stick with him for 3 hours. But you also do have some really interesting side characters, and yeah, their roles are much, much smaller, but at the same time, they bring so much more to the film, just little bits and pieces.
Yeah, I mean, some people might be okay with watching one guy for 3 hours, but I myself would personally be much more okay with watching so many other stories. It was more than just Jeff Daniels and Martin Sheen's character. I mean, there's so many others that I could probably list. I mean, the stories that go on with Gettysburg, you couldn't tell them all even with the tour I took there. I mean, just they had to really be picky and choosy. And sure, yeah, the movie was long too. Both of these movies are extremely long, to say the least. But at least with Gettysburg, you have so many iconic moments with so many characters. There was Pickett's charge and the cannonade that happened that was portrayed there. It was just well portrayed, I think, on all accounts.
Any last minute arguments?
I feel we both made our arguments well enough.
All right, well, obviously I'm left with a very difficult decision here because you guys made some great points. Obviously, both these movies have a lot in common, being that they're in the same era. They have a lot of the same subject matter with slavery and the Civil War. I think maybe where I was kind of leaning towards Kellen's was I mean, yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis did have an amazing performance as Lincoln, and I guess, I mean, Lincoln was one of the best critically acclaimed movies of all time in 2013?
I believe 2012.
2012, yeah, I was like, sorry, 1 year off. But
mine was in 93, so it's like a huge jump.
I think that, I mean, yeah, Kellen probably takes the W here because he mentioned that Day-Lewis's performance was obviously incredible, and I'm not saying the performances of Daniels and Sheen were amazing as well. And I watched Gettysburg too, and I loved that movie. But I'd say Kellen probably comes out on top of this one, basically, for the performance of Daniel Day-Lewis. All right, Jack.
welcome to Back to the Movies Fun Facts. I'm Caitlin McDonald, and I will be providing you with your wonderful facts. In this fact number 1, did you know that you can actually visit Halloween Town? In St. Helens, Oregon, where the original Halloween Town was filmed, there is a month-long event called Spirit of Halloween Town, which allows fans of the movie to explore the town. Fact number 2, everybody remembers our favorite goblin boy and slight crush Luke, who was played by Philip Van Dyke. But did you know that he also provided the voice for Arnold from Hey Arnold? Number 3, throughout the whole series, only 2 actors appear in all 4 of the films. Judith Hogg, who played Marnie's mom, Gwen Piper, and Joey Zimmerman, who played Dylan Piper, Marnie's brother. Number 4, remember Marnie's and Dylan's adorable younger sister Sophie, played by Emily Rozek? Well, after the Halloween Town series, excluding the 4th one, Emily quit acting and followed the path of the martial arts and became a 3rd-degree black belt. Number 5, I'm sure there are quite a few of us that have seen High School Musical, and we can all picture Kelsey and Ryan. But did you know that their actors, Alicia Rowland and Lucas Gabriel, appeared in Halloween Town High as Natalie the Troll and Nathan the Warlock? And now for our last fact. October 17th had marked the original Halloween Town's 17th birthday. Wow, and I thought that I couldn't feel any older. Well, thanks for watching, and until next week.
Hi, I'm Kyle Farman. Welcome to our segment on Movies You Should Watch. These films have made a great impact on our society. They make you laugh, cry, or they completely appall you. Unfortunately, you are subdued to my personal opinion because, well, that's how this segment should operate. This week, I would like to talk to you about Bruce Almighty, one of Jim Carrey's most underrated films. In this movie, Jim Carrey plays Bruce Nolan, an anchor and reporter in upstate New York who complains to Morgan Freeman, God, about how he's not doing a good job. So he asks Morgan Freeman, God, if he can have his powers for a week. But Bruce soon learns it's not all it's cracked up to be. This film is one of those heartwarming, wacky fantasy comedies you can't miss because you get to see Jim Carrey acting like, well, Jim Carrey. If you haven't seen it already, it's on Netflix, so don't tell me that you don't have time or that your dog just died because there's no excuse. I don't care. Just go and watch it. Have a great day.
Visit utvs.com and learn more about SESU's television station. Visit utvs.com and learn more about SESU's television station.
Foreign movies are a favorite pastime of mine, so I'm super excited today to share the joy with you. Today I have 2 2015 films to introduce you to, and hopefully we can wait to watch them together. Youth is number 1. That's an Italian film written and directed by Paolo Sorrentino, starring Michael Caine as Fred Barlinger. A retired orchestra conductor, Fred, and his best friend, a film director, are on vacation in an elegant hotel at the foot of the Alps. They examine their children's confused lives, and Fred does not think he'll ever conduct again, while Mick works on a film that he is wishing or hoping will be his last film ever. But to Fred's surprise, Queen Elizabeth II, of all people, invites him to come perform for Prince Philip's birthday, and the adventure continues. I am so looking forward to this. Youth will be in theaters December 4th, and viewer discretion, though, is advised. The second foreign movie on my list is an Indian movie, Hero. It stars Suraj Panchilo and Athai Shetty. I hope I pronounced those names right. A good movie in any language is a good movie, right? So please watch with a knowing smile on your face and be consoled by the fact that there's subtitles, and I promise you there's an English line in there that you would love. It is directed by Nikhil Advani, and this is a love story, one of those love stories that just keep you wanting more. So I am pretty sure you have nothing better to do with your Saturday evening or your Sunday or Friday evening than sit down and watch, just kick back and watch these great international movies and see what the other parts of the world have in store for you. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next segment.
You're watching UTVS, local TV for the Granite City.
Welcome to our segment about anything and everything on Netflix. Now, Kellen and I have picked out some topics for this week that we want to go over. You know, stuff that we think you should watch. It's really, it's either funny or it's got a lot of impact to it. And they're just classic films that you can all find on Netflix, and it's great. And I remember last segment we talked about Parks and Rec, right? And kind of deadpan humor. Same writers for this show, The Office. Everybody loves The Office. And you got Michael Scott, who was played by Steve Carell. You've got Ed Helms. You've got John Krasinski, Rainn Wilson, all kind of within the same building. And there's some crazy stuff that goes on. I mean, what would you say the show's about?
I would say it's kind of just about an absurd office that feels like a middle school almost, with kind of, it's just characters where they're just kind of heckling each other and they're playing pranks on each other, and some of them just wondering how they're even employed at that place. But I'd just say it's kind of just absurd. It's like a documentary, humorous thing, and I just think, you know, as you said, the performances are just great.
Yeah, they really are. And some of the pranks that, you know, Jim pulls on Dwight, absolutely hysterical. Like when he puts his stuff in Jell-O, or when he sends him a fax saying he's from the future and that someone poisoned the coffee. It's absolutely great. Now, moving on from comedy shows, we want to talk about Arrow. Now, I've never actually seen this, but I know you have. So what can you say about...
So about Arrow, it's a, you know, a superhero show, but more like Batman, where it's kind of grounded in some reality, and, you know, like there's some real impact to the action. It's not, you know, over the top, guy jumped over a building kind of action, but the action is phenomenal in it. It can get a little violent at times, but it mostly stays kind of friendly for all audiences to see. And the show has some great villains throughout its 3 seasons so far, and it just keeps introducing new characters, keep everything fresh, and keep the story going, and not feel like you're just watching the same thing over and over again. And it builds up its characters and its moments exceptionally well, and the payoffs is almost always worth it.
Absolutely. Now, I also know, for you Teen Titans fans out there, that Slade does make an appearance in the show. Is that true?
Yes. Slade is a predominant character in both Season 1 and Season 2. He ends up as the villain in Season 2, but you feel for him, because you understand from Season 1, you see flashbacks of, you know, what kind of happened to him, and you feel for him, and you understand why he acts the way he does. He is crazy still. He's still the bad guy, but it's not like just, ooh, he's twirling his mustache like a, you know, old 1950s villain. But, you know, he's got a little more nuance to him. And like I said, the action when, you know, Deathstroke and the Arrow fight is just phenomenal.
Oh, I can imagine. I mean, I'm a big Batman fan myself, but I'm going to have to check it out, even though I don't watch many superhero shows. Now, when we're talking about movies, funny movies, Hot Fuzz. Any of you who love Simon Pegg, this is a great movie to watch. Maybe you've already seen it. Kind of plays, I would say, he's a really good cop, and he comes from London, but he's kind of making everybody else on the force look bad, so they kind of throw him into this village. And there's a lot of random murders that are going around in the village, and he gets paired up with the dumbest cop on the force, who is played by Nick Frost, and in real life is Simon Pegg's best friend. And, I mean, what would you say kind of happens in this show?
I mean, so what ends up kind of happening is it's a spoof on cop films, so it takes kind of your stereotypical cop thing, you know, the hard cop and the goofy cop get paired together, but it kind of just spoofs on it at every moment it can, and because you're expecting it because you've seen this film so many times that you're expecting certain things to happen, and like the complete opposite happens that you were expecting, and that kind of just it's so humorous and just kind of how it diverts from the whole genre as a whole, and it pokes fun at it. It's very referential to other cop films, and the other big thing is it's part of a trilogy of films that Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg made together. So if you've seen Shaun of the Dead or you've seen the World's End, I think it's probably the best of the three, but it's very similar to those. So I would recommend watching all three of them back to back. But Hot Fuzz is just a great film for how it kind of just twists the entire genre.
I agree, and Hot Fuzz is my personal favorite out of all those the three films. Now, moving on to dramas, American Psycho. Now, I've heard this is a just out-of-this-world movie. I mean, Christian Bale plays a businessman with an inferiority complex, and he just goes and he kills. Now, is this true?
Yes, very much so. It's extremely violent in the way he kills people, but they also kind of added such a humorous undertone to it. His first kill ends up happening where he's playing, the song Hip to Be Square, and he's doing such a weird dance to it. But he's just got such a weird smile to him as he's killing. It's such a demented movie. Viewer discretion is certainly advised for this film, as it's going to make you feel uncomfortable while watching it. But I think it's worth watching for the great performances, kind of the twists that you don't expect to happen, and how everything kind of just all comes together at the end to make a great film.
Yeah, sounds like it. I'm going to have to go home and watch that myself. All right, well, that is all we have today for our segment on Netflix. We will be back next week to force our opinions onto you and for you to follow our orders. All right, thank you, and good night.
I hope you had an exciting show this week. Thank you for joining us on Back to the Movies, and we will see you next week, same time.
You're watching UTVS, local TV for the Granite City. Visit utvs.com and learn more about SCSU's television station. You're watching UTVS, local TV for the Granite City.